Nokia was once the king of mobile phones, dominating the industry with its durable and innovative devices. But as smartphones took over, the company fell behind, lost its edge, and eventually faced financial disaster. Many thought Nokia was finished, but Nokia didn't stay down. It made a shocking comeback, transforming itself into a billion-dollar giant once again. How did this happen? What was Nokia's secret to survival and success? In this video, we'll dive deep into Nokia's incredible journey, from its downfall to its powerful rebirth. Make sure to like, subscribe, and watch till the end, because this story is full of lessons and surprises. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The beginning of the end. In the early 2000s, Nokia was unstoppable. The company had built a reputation for making durable, reliable phones that were used across the world. From the legendary Nokia 3310 to the high-end N series, their devices dominated the market. In 2007, they controlled over 40% of the global mobile phone industry. But just when they thought they were untouchable, everything changed. On January 9, 2007, Steve Jobs stepped onto a stage and introduced the iPhone. With a sleek design, a revolutionary touchscreen interface, and the ability to run applications, the iPhone set a new standard for mobile technology. The industry was evolving, and Nokia had a choice: adapt or fall behind. But instead of seeing the iPhone as a threat, Nokia executives dismissed it as a niche product. They believed that consumers wouldn't trade durability and physical keypads for a fragile glass screen. Internal reports from Nokia show that engineers mocked Apple's new device, claiming it was too expensive to manufacture and would never pass Nokia's famous drop test. They were wrong. The iPhone wasn't just another phone, it was the beginning of a new era. Soon, companies like Samsung, HTC, and Google began releasing their smartphones, powered by the rapidly growing Android operating system. The world was moving toward touchscreen devices and software ecosystems, and Nokia was completely unprepared. When they finally responded with the N97 in 2009, it was too late. The phone was meant to be their iPhone killer, but instead it became a disaster. It was slow, clunky, and suffered from software issues. Nokia was still relying on its aging Symbian operating system, which was no match for Apple's iOS or Google's Android. The N97's App Store had fewer than 500 applications, while Apple's had over 100,000. Nokia had lost its lead. And worse, they didn't know how to get it back. Chapter 2. The Man Who Destroyed Nokia. By 2010, Nokia was in crisis mode. Their market share was plummeting, and they needed a bold strategy to survive. That's when they brought in a new CEO, Stephen Elop. Elop was a former executive at Microsoft, known for his aggressive leadership style. He had a reputation as a change agent who could turn struggling businesses around. From the moment he arrived at Nokia, he made it clear that drastic changes were coming. His first act as CEO was to deliver what became known as the Burning Platform memo. In this leaked internal speech, he compared Nokia's situation to a man standing on an oil platform that had caught fire. He told employees that Nokia was surrounded by intense competition and that their current strategy was failing. His solution? Ditch Nokia's Symbian operating system and replace it with Microsoft's Windows Phone. This decision shocked the industry. Many believed that Nokia's best chance of survival was to adopt Android, which was already growing rapidly. But Elop had strong ties to Microsoft, and he was convinced that Windows Phone could be the third ecosystem to challenge Apple and Google. It was a bet that would cost Nokia everything. The transition to Windows Phone was disastrous. Microsoft's software was unfamiliar to consumers, lacked essential apps, and had a confusing user interface. Worse, Windows Phone placed heavy restrictions on Nokia's hardware, forcing them to use outdated technology. Their flagship Lumia devices had weaker processors, less storage, and fewer features than their Android and iOS competitors. sales tanked. Between 2011 and 2014, Nokia sold just 52 million Windows phones. To put that in perspective, Samsung sold the same number of Android phones in just 2 months. By 2013, Nokia's market share had fallen to just 3%. Their stock price collapsed and losses piled up. Investors lost confidence and employees grew frustrated. The company that once led the mobile revolution was now a shadow of its former self. Then, in 2014, Elop made his final move. He sold Nokia's phone division to Microsoft for $7.2 billion. Nokia's leadership was gutted, and many top executives followed Elop to Microsoft. It felt like the final nail in the coffin. By the time Elop left, Nokia was in ruins. The company that once controlled over a third of the global mobile market now had nothing. It seemed like the end of the road. But then, something incredible happened. Chapter 3: The Man Who Saved Nokia. While Nokia's mobile division was crashing and burning, another part of the company was quietly thriving. Their telecommunications infrastructure business, Nokia Solutions and Networks, had been struggling for years. But in 2009, a man named Rajiv Suri took over. Unlike Elop, Suri wasn't flashy. He wasn't making bold promises or taking massive risks. Instead, he focused on something much more important: stability. By 2014, Suri had turned Nokia's network business into a profitable operation, and when he was appointed as CEO of Nokia after Elop's departure, he had a plan to save the company. Nokia would no longer focus on selling phones to consumers. Instead, they would become a leader in telecommunications technology, specifically 5G networks. Under Suri's leadership, Nokia acquired Alcatel-Lucent for $16.6 billion. This gave them control of Bell Labs, one of the world's most advanced research centers. With this new technology, Nokia began building a powerful 5G infrastructure. By 2018, they had made a breakthrough. Their new ReefShark chips were faster, smaller, and more energy efficient than anything else on the market. As 5G adoption grew, Nokia was in the perfect position to supply the world's biggest telecom companies. By 2020, they had secured 100 commercial 5G contracts. Today, that number has grown to over 300, and Nokia controls nearly 30% of the 5G market outside China. Suri's strategy had worked. In just a few years, Nokia had transformed from a failing phone company to a leader in global telecommunications. Their revenue rebounded, and for the first time in over a decade, the company had stability. While it may never return to its former glory as a phone manufacturer, Nokia has proven that reinvention is possible. They didn't just survive, they adapted, evolved, and found a new way to thrive. Chapter 4: The Road Ahead. Nokia may have survived its darkest days, but what does the future hold for the company? While they are no longer in the consumer mobile market, their presence in telecommunications infrastructure is stronger than ever. However, the competition remains fierce. The biggest challenge Nokia faces today is Huawei. The Chinese tech giant has aggressively expanded its 5G business, often offering cheaper solutions than Nokia and Ericsson. However, due to increasing global concerns over security and government bans in countries like the US and the UK, Huawei's influence has been somewhat limited. This has created an opportunity for Nokia to strengthen its market position. Another key factor in Nokia's future is its investment in 6G technology. While 5G is still being rolled out, the race for the next generation of wireless communication has already begun. Nokia has positioned itself as a leader in this space, collaborating with major research institutions and governments to shape the future of connectivity. If they succeed in establishing themselves as a pioneer in 6G, they could once again dominate the industry, this time not as a consumer brand, but as a technological powerhouse behind the world's networks. But technology alone won't guarantee success. Execution is everything. Can Nokia continue to innovate at the pace required to stay ahead? Can they avoid the mistakes of the past and remain adaptable in an ever-changing market? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. Until next time, take care.